One fine day in 1995, a man casually walked into a bank in Pittsburgh. He was ready to rob the bank in broad daylight. Strangely, he didn't wear a mask or carry a gun. He was just robbing the bank in sight of everyone and even smiled at surveillance camera before walking out of the bank. Robber was shocked to see the police at the doorstep and he famously exclaimed, "But I wore the juice." Apparently, he thought that applying lemon juice on the body would make him invisible. After going through his reports, police concluded that he was not crazy, he was just misinformed. This is cognitive bias at work. A cognitive bias is a systematic pattern of deviation from rationality in judgment. Individuals create their own subjective reality from their perception of the input. This made-up reality by individual may dictate their behavior in the world. Robert's news inspired two psychologists, Dunning and Kruger, to perform some experiments to understand the phenomenon better. They wanted to determine if Robert's juice beliefs were due to some kind of cognitive bias. Cognitive biases authorize us to convince ourselves that something is true even if the reality is different. Cognitive biases protect us from reality. They let us process information more quickly and they help us make decisions faster. Believing you know something you don't is called Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger can help explain why people feel that they are experts even though they know very little about something. Dunning and Kruger examined a group of undergraduate students in three categories. Number 1, sense of humor. Number 2, logical reasoning. Number 3, grammatical writing. After the tests were taken by students and evaluated, Dunning and Kruger asked each student to estimate his or her overall score, as well as their relative rank compared to other students. They found that the students who scored the lowest in this cognitive task always overestimated how well they did. And students who scored the highest had an exact impression of their abilities. However, they committed a different mistake. Highest scoring students underestimated their performance. They realized they were superior to average at the test, but since it was simple for them, they expected it was simple for everybody. They didn't know that their ability was at the top percentile. Today, this phenomenon is known as Dunning-Kruger effect. I can better explain this using a graph. The vertical axis is confidence and the horizontal is experience. Having barely any ability leads to overconfidence. However, when you gain more information and become more knowledgeable about a certain topic, that overconfidence falls. Confidence starts to pick up again as soon as you perform better than expected. Why does being less skilled make you more confident? I'm going to help you visualize how this happens. This is John. He's a novice magician, and this circle represents his knowledge about magic. And this is how big he thinks the field of magic is, and how much there is to know about it. With this reasoning, he is easily at the top percentile of all magicians. But let's say he comes in contact with a professional magician, someone who has been doing it for past 10 years, but he still has a lot to learn about magic. This circle represents magician's knowledge about magic. But he also knows that the field of magic is much larger. Because the magician is more knowledgeable about the subject, he knows that there is still a lot to learn. However, John does not. Now you can see why John is so overconfident in his ability. Meanwhile, experts tend to be aware of their position in their field, but they assume that everyone else is knowledgeable as well because others have so much confidence. We are all victims to the Dunning-Kruger effect. But how can we prevent ourselves from falling for it? Well, the answer is, you should try to get as much education as possible. Inexperienced students in the Dunning-Kruger experiment enhanced their ability to predict the test results accurately after receiving minimal tutoring on the skills they lacked. So, When you feel confident next time, thinking you know a lot about something, take a closer look at the subject, as you might be a victim of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe.